Hi, I'm Steve Mann and this is Paper Classroom. Welcome to another one of our video tutorials. We're still on the fibre module, and in this tutorial we're going to talk about processing new fibres. Well, to be honest, it's just an introduction to the processing of new fibres. It's to make you aware that there are more than one type of new fibre, one type of virgin fibre. How many types of fibre do you think there are? Now, I'm not talking about species. How many types of new fibre? Well, there are actually two types of new fibre. And how we get there, let's just go back and look at the original process for producing new fibres. If you start off like here from a tree and you pass by making the dried pulp stage, so in other words you don't make any of this stuff, so you take a tree, you put it through the cooking process, you've washed it, you've bleached it, and then you simply dilute it, put it on a paper machine and make paper from it. So you've gone by this route, you've bypassed the dried pulp stage. If you're that type of mill, you are what we call an integrated mill. You do everything. Some mills, however, only go halfway. They will take the tree, they will stew it up with chemicals, dissolve away all the lignin, produce all the individual fibres, clean them and screen them, maybe bleach them, and then finally produce this type of sheets of pulp in a bale like you see here, and just sell the bale. They don't go to the trouble of making paper. So they sell bales of pulp so that someone else can make paper. So that type of mill is a pulp mill. Now, somebody will buy the paper that they've made, and when they've bought that paper that they've made, they will then turn it into a sheet of paper. So a mill that does that is what we call a non-integrated mill. Now, non-integrated mills make paper from what we call once dried fibres, because those fibres have in the past been dried in order to produce this pulp, whereas these fibres have never ever been dried to produce the pulp. Once dried fibres have an advantage over these never dried fibres, because once dried fibres have gone through this process that we call hornification, or the stiffening of a fibre, and we'll talk about that later on when we do sort of stock prep and things like that. So let's be aware, two types of fibre: never dried fibre and once dried fibre. So never dried fibres come from integrated mills. Those are the best fibres you can ever get, simply because they have never been dried. If you buy in the sheets of pulp, then you are a non-integrated mill and you are using once dried fibre. Now what that means is, again, we'll talk about this more detail in for tutorials in the future, but if you imagine the cross-sectional diameter of a fibre like this, a fibre consists of four walls: the primary, the S1, the S2, the S3, and there's a little gap in between each wall, and hydrogen bonds hold them together, hold the walls together, stop them sliding out like a telescope. What the refining operation actually does is push water in between those walls and makes the fibre swell, so fibres become fatter. You can't make them longer, they stay the same length, but they can become fatter because you're pushing water into these walls. Now, if you are a integrated mill where the fibre has never been dried, that's quite easy to do. But if you are a non-integrated mill, that pulp that you've bought has been dried in order to get it to your mill economically. And during the drying process, that fibre shrinks. It becomes smaller in diameter. Those four walls I talked about get closer together. And because they're closer together, more hydrogen bonds formed, giving stronger bonds between the walls. Because those bonds are stronger, when you come to refine, it's much harder to push that water in between those walls because there's more hydrogen bonds there resisting you doing so. And that has consequences. It makes the fibre stiffer. And as you'll see, that has consequences for the fibre itself, and it has negative consequences for the sheet, but it also has some positive consequences for the sheet. So if we talk about the advantages at the moment of once dried fibre, which is the disadvantages of never dried fibre, once dried fibres are more difficult to slush. Yeah? So if you're an integrated mill with your never dried fibre, your fibre is already slushed. So you can't get easier than that. You've put it through the chemical pulping tower, it's come out to the bottom washed. You might put it through a bleaching tower, it comes out to the bottom washed, and you just dilute it and make fibre and make paper from it. Simple as that. With a once dried fibre, you've got to manhandle a bale of this that might weigh quite a couple of hundred kilos. So you're manhandling a big bale of this. You've got to lift it up. You've got to drop it into a tank where you will slush it all around, a pulper. You're going to consume energy doing it. It's going to throw fibre and water around. It's going to be messy. So once dried fibres are harder or more difficult to slush than never dried fibre. They're also more difficult to refine, and I explained why a moment ago. In the drying process, because you make this fibre smaller in diameter, the bonds between those walls become tighter, and therefore it's harder to push the water in. And that's one of the things that refining does. It pushes water in to make the fibre swell and make it more flexible. So, because the fibre is stiffer, it's less flexible. One of the consequences of being less flexible is when you're slushing it, it's very likely to hit that rotor, and rather than just bend and recover, it'll snap. So you've got two short fibres now. So let's look at the consequences in the sheet itself of having once dried fibres there. It reduces the burst strength of the sheet. Burst, one of the critical factors that govern the burst strength of the sheet, is actually fibre length. The shorter the fibre, the poorer the burst. The longer the fibre, the better the burst. So by having once dried fibres, the simple act of slushing them will snap some of them, so therefore you will reduce the average fibre length, and therefore you will reduce the burst of the sheet. One of the characteristics of a good piece of paper is many fibre-fibre crossovers. The more crossovers you have, the stronger the sheet will be. Reducing fibre length means you've got shorter fibres, therefore fewer crossovers, and therefore you'll have a reduced tensile strength. Folding endurance, there is a machine that measures the folding endurance of a sheet of paper. And folding endurance, the folding strength is dominated by fibre length. So again, if you reduce fibre length, you will reduce the folding endurance. And finally, the density. If you make your fibres stiffer, which drying them does, then when they form a sheet, they won't bend over each other to minimise the volume of the sheet. They'll be rigid. so they will increase the volume of the sheet. So the same massive sheet as an increased volume means it's less dense. But as I said, there are some advantages to Onstride fibres. It increases the tear strength of the sheet, and that's because you're creating more holes. And again, I explain that in a lot more detail when we do stock preparation. It's an important thing to observe the effect of fibre degree of fibrillation and fibre length on tear. It increases the opacity. Because the fibres are stiffer and there's less bonding area, or relative bonded area, then there's more light scattering. And the greater the light scattering, the greater the opacity of the sheet. The sheet's also increased in stiffness. So because the fibres are stiffer, it makes a thicker sheet. And the stiffness of a sheet of paper is related to the fourth power of the thickness of the sheet. So a small increase in thickness means a big increase in stiffness. And because our fibres are stiffer, the sheet itself will be thicker, and therefore it will increase the stiffness. And finally, as for the reason we've just explained, it increases the bulk of the sheet, it increases the thickness. Finally, just like to mention slushing of fibres. Traditionally, everybody slushed with this, a low consistency pulper, 4 to 6%. The trouble with this pulper is it's extremely violent and it damages fibres. It produces fines, it reduces fibre length. And it's great if you're dealing with difficult fibres like recycled fibre, but you should never really use it for virgin fibre. For virgin fibre, if you can, you should always use a high consistency pulper. This is a very old high consistency pulper. There are much more modern ones now with offset from the centre rotors. But ideally for virgin fibre, you should use high consistency pulpers. And again, when we do stock prep, I'll go into great detail of the advantages and disadvantages of each of these two types of pulper. I said this was a bit about processing fibres. From here, you would go on to refine it, and then you would go on to clean it. And again, we'll talk about those operations in a lot more detail under the stock prep module. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you also noticed a difference in the sound quality. One or two people wrote in to say that the sound quality wasn't very good. So for your benefit, I've got you a brand new microphone. So I hope you're hearing the improvement in sound. I look forward to your feedback, and I look forward to seeing you watch more and more of my videos.